out there searching for intelligent life. This is Awful Brown, full of life, full of awe, and today I'm going to be building. It's a tool that I've been contemplating for a long time. It is something to help me analyze the gas that I use for the vehicle that I drive. And I don't drive a lot. I don't really care for driving, but when I do drive, I track the mileage on the vehicle. I take pictures of the gas trip mileage. I take a picture of the amount of gas purchased. Let's see if I can pull that up for you guys. So you see what I'm talking about. Help you guys get it. Paint a picture. Paint a picture. I think will be best. Before I can do that, I need to log in before I hold my photos. Alright, so while that's happening, I'm going to tell you about the tools I'll be using. It's an Express API, Node.js, Mongoose. What else do I need to tell you about it? I will be using on the front end, it will be React most likely. I've been getting kind of good at React, so I'm going to continue to go there. Still need to work on my ability to write tests. So, in time, I'll get there. What else do I need to tell you guys about it? Maybe use some Redux. We'll have React Router in it. I'm not sure. Like, I've been using Redux in my last 2 projects, and just the boilerplate to get it set up is a big annoyance. So I don't know if it's needed for this. For our state management, I'm not sure. We'll see. All I'll be working on this first part is just the API, setting up the user model, route to go along with that, transaction route and model, and then the gas route model. And I'm splitting up transactions and gas because I have another application that has transactions in it. And I see the gas is just an extension, being that the gas portion is going to involve cost, the investment into acquiring the gas. So I'm going to basically use the same database and put it all in there and use a foreign key to connect the gas transaction with the all transactions. That makes sense. Log in. Alright. You guys don't see my let me go ahead and show y'all what's going on with Chrome. Alright, here we go. So, oh no. Alright. So this is what I'm talking about. This is, so you can see there you got the purchase, the gas. Here you got the trip mileage. Not this one. See here, Costco, $24.30, 9.137 gallons used. The cost per gallon, $2.65. And then, again, at the trip. And here's your trip mileage. You should be able to see that. There you go, 217.7 miles on the trip. So the tricky part is you don't get the trip until the next gas purchase. So just have to be mindful of that when doing the calculations. This is going to be an open source project. I don't know if I'm going to make it so that anyone can sign up and use and add their new fuel into it. Maybe I will. I don't know. Alright, what is next? Here we go. Alright, let's get started. So I've gotten a bit of the work already done for this. Well, not a bit, I got a small portion. So I have, I've already imported Express, body parser, cores, my .env with my secret, Mongoose, and Nodemon. Mongoose is basically kind of like it helps the Express application connect to the MongoDB. You'll see more of that later. Nodemon is basically the Node server. It launches it, but it also checks for changes. So when I save a file, it launches the changes, or it loads the changes. Body parser is used to basically read the body of the HTTPS message that I send. Cores is to protect from cores, allows the app to API and the client to connect and not having issues with error messages. Alright, so now let's get to it. Next step is adding my model. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to that. Model.index.js. In previous versions I've used var. I'm going to try to use let. I don't think in this instance it really makes that big of a difference between var and let, because they're both be scoped to the file. But let's see what happens. This basically tells it to share the debug messages. As far as the music, I'm using Pretzel, Pretzel.rocks. I'm not making the playlist, but I dig some of the stuff they play. They have 225 songs, so it will repeat. So this is the BB that I have installed. And I'm using the OR statement because first it'll check for this DB, which is a environment variable. If it's not there, then it'll go to the local database. And I do that because before I was putting it twice. I was doing one for the MongoDB underscore URI, which is the hosted database, and then other times, and then I'd have to comment out and change for the local. And sometimes I deploy the API and forget to make that change. And this allows me, it basically protects me from having to do that. Module.exports.user. Alright, so now I need to make that user file. Going to import Mongoose again. This allows Express to speak with MongoDB. Alright, Mongo has a schema that we can use. Since I'm using the same DB, I'm just going to copy the previous one, because a lot of what is in here doesn't pertain to this project at all, and I don't want to create a new database. User Mongoose.model user schema. So basically user schema is this here, what was created. If you have questions about this, check out the Mongo or Mongoose documentation, or check out one of my previous videos. I'm not going to go into it today. Or you can check out the Udemy class by Colt Steele, Advanced Web Development. This was where I learned a lot of this from. And then I'm going to export user. And this is what is imported here. Alright, so now I need a route. Think for a second. I want to go straight into routes. Yeah. Let's go ahead and commit. Add. Alright, that's done. Let's do the user routes. And I'm going to use a helper. See routes users.js. Forgot about that. We're keeping with let express require express let router is going to be express router, which is a function. And then DB is going to be, I'm pulling that from my models. Models is the directory, and when you don't put the file, it then goes and pulls the index.js. So that's why I'm doing it that way. Models is going to import all of my other models, which should be a total of 3, I believe. And then helpers, which doesn't exist yet, but I'll be building that next. Router dot route, which is a function. I answered a question for a person who had taken the same class with me that taught by Colt, and he had a question about the next part I'm going to show you, where you pass the user ID.
get users. So get users is going to be a function that I'm going to write in my helpers file. So helpers.getUsers. That's why you see that there. It'll make more sense. Well, I guess I could go ahead and do that now. And then I'll go ahead, exports router. So I'm going to export this router, and it's going to be consumed into my index into this file here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make my helpers file. Alright, so this is going to need access to my database. Also, it's going to need the model. Exports.get users function. And this is, if you remember, helpers users.get users. There it is right here. So this is what's going to be called. And this is another function. .find, .then, function, users. And the .find is provided in DB, which is, if we go and look, that's from Mongo. Am I not showing it? Yeah, it's from my database, Mongoose and MongoDB. Alright, so let's get back to business. Alright, so after we find it, mongo.find. It takes everything in the user model, all the items on that table. And then, this is promises here, then it passes that to a function. So all the users are then passed to a function and return response, which is this, request, which is what comes in, and it returns response.json. So it just turns those to JSON objects, an array of JSON objects, and it's called user. And then catch is in case there's an error. Function error response.send error. Alright. And response.send and response.json, those are just functions that come with Express. This one is basically just telling you what you're getting as a JSON object. So go ahead and handle it as such. And this .send is basically saying you're getting response, and it has an array of functions that it can use, one of which is JSON. Right, and that is that. So now if I go ahead and make a route for that in here, I should be able so let's see what's next. Let DB equal require models. So again, it's pulling the index file from my models directory. And now, put space between them. let user routes equal require routes users. Alright. This is my root route. Basically, this is basically a test to see if everything is working correctly. I got for this, I'm using the out.get function. And I'm namespacing this. And yeah, that'll be it. User routes. App.use. I don't need both. I could just use the one. And I'll show you that later. Now this should work. Alright, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to comment out this one just to confirm to myself that it does work. And we're getting not what I expected. Let's try it again. Alright, it's taking a while to get caught up. I think we're ready now. You got it? It's thinking. Refuse to load fonts because it violates security. Are you kidding me? Let's see what my console says. What my terminal says. Maybe I do need that. There's no. Let's try. Let's wait for it to load up. Again, the channel is called, and the show is called I Do Not Know How This Works. So, this just confirms it. Are we going to get it? I think this is a CORS error. Refuse to load font. That dot shouldn't be there. What's missing? Better. DOM content loaded. I think it's just taking a long time. Maybe because I got too many things running. There it is. All right. I think the issue was the dot. I think that was the issue. Let's try it again. I was, before I got that error message, I was positive that I didn't need to use it to get. I could use users. Let's see. Oh, my neck is tight. I think we're getting it. I'm pretty sure it's timing out because I'm stressing my computer out. I'm doing too much. Doing too much. There we go. See? Told you! Know what I'm talking about, man. Alright. So now let's go ahead and add that back because we're going to use that. And now I'm going to start adding my other routes. My get user ID, and I'll tell you the story about the how I was able to help out a fellow learner who didn't quite get why some things were happening. All right. And that is here where we're going to do that. User ID. The person wanted to know, how does the app know what the user ID is when it's passed? And basically, my neighbor's cutting his grass, so let's put the noises in the background. Basically what I was telling him is that route is a function. This is a function, right? It looks like the function is blue. This is an object. Router's an object. No, router's a function as well. Never mind that. Router's a function as well. Route is another function that's chained to it. And this here is the signature. This is a string that is being passed a parameter. The colon in front of it tells it that this is a variable and that it will change. Alright, and then we got get helpers users.get user, just a singular user. We do put as well dot update user, and then delete helpers dot delete user. All right, all of these are going to be passed to the router, which is then exported and then used in my helpers. All right, so what I did as a way to illustrate to him that was the case is I just, like most things, because I'm still learning and getting a grasp on testing, I console log everything. So you can console log this stuff. So exports.get user. This is the definition of the function. Here, this is basically importing and using that function because we're importing it all from helpers.users, helpers users. Request response. Find by ID. This is a function that's provided by Mongo, and request is an object that's passed in. Dot params is an object on that object. It's a nested object, and then dot user ID. User ID is a key that is basically this user ID. It's a variable. the variable is then, so that's what is being passed, and that's how, and it's on the end of the route. So that's how the user or the application knows what the user ID is and what to look for. And I basically showed him that how that worked, and that was the case by console logging a bunch of stuff. And here's where you can do it, right? You can just console log request.params.user ID. Let me go ahead and finish this before I show you guys that, and then I'll delete it later. Request response.json. Again, JSON is a function that comes along with Mongo. Catch. No wait. Response is that's an express function. All right, so that's my get user. My update user is next. You start to notice a pattern. Find when an update is another function that comes with Mongo. Makes it easy. And this basically tells it after you update it, return the new version. That right there basically tells it to return the new version. Otherwise, it's just going to return the old version of what it is to update. User response.json user. So this user would be the new user, the updated version, instead of the old version. Oh, so tell you guys a little bit about what I've been up to since my last stream. I found a site, well, I've known about it for a while, I just wasn't using it, called Gitcoin, which basically allows developers to receive compensation for working on open source projects. So I bid on a couple projects, basically submitted that I wanted to work on them, and then did the work for one, which is to write a blog post about Gitcoin Gas to basically help people understand how it works and the purpose of it and why the price changes, and got paid 100 DAI for it. So I may do a stream on DAI, but I own some cryptocurrency now, so that was cool. And I'm just holding on to it. I'm doing some research as far as what can be done to basically grow my cryptocurrency fortune. Alright, remove is another function that comes with Mongo. Alright, so I got them all, and export them all. There. So now if I go I'm going to show you guys. Alright, yeah, it'll show up here in the terminal. I'll make this bigger. So you see, console log, the ID. That's the ID that I searched for. So there it is. And now it's searching for it. And like the other times, it takes a while. So we're going to be patient with my computer. Oh, there it is. I don't know why it's not pretty, but it is what it is. All right, so this is my time tracking tool. I'm working hard to be a mad scientist. I've been doing this for an hour now. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break. I'll be back to do the transactions route and the gas route. Thank you all for checking in with me. All right. Remember, I do not know how this works. I am awful brown, and learn with me.